You found who in the woods?
My sister. A hole right here going up, and her braces was coming out of her cheek. I can't get the image out of my head.
So her and Aaron hadn't had any problem.
If anybody left that backyard, those dogs would have made a beeline off of it and ran through the woods over there because they ran that way. They looked that way, but they kept coming back. Why? Because the person didn't leave. There was no time.
If I had a video camera, I would have put it on.
We'll sit on YouTube. No, lift them up. Lift them up.
This is 14-year-old Lacey Aaron Schmidt, who on January 31st, 2011, was called in for an interrogation after his friend and classmate, 14-year-old Alana Mae Callahan, was fatally shot in the head while in her home in Columbia County, Georgia. However, all of this started a few hours back when police officers received a distress call from Miles Road in Harlem.
20K91, where's your emergency?
Oh my God, my sister.
Ma'am, where are you at?
I'm 1159 Miles Road, Georgia.
What's the address on Miles Road?
1159.
1159 Miles Road?
Yes.
What's going on?
I don't know. I'm getting my little brother to do the little driveway.
Okay, you need to calm down, okay? You need to tell me what's going on.
Oh, I just look at my little brother and my sister was gone. And she's laying in the woods.
Your sister is gone?
No, she's laying right here in front of me, covered in mud and blood. Her face is all bloody.
Ma'am, you have to take a deep breath for me and tell me what happened.
And don't touch her. I wanted to go get my little brother from the driveway. I come back, and there's red stuff all over my front yard, and I found her in the woods.
You found who in the woods?
My sister.
During the call, Alana's sister, 18-year-old Amanda Callahan, explained how she had found Alana's body in a pool of blood several feet away from their home, with no clue of how she got there.
Is she talking to you?
No.
She's not talking to you?
You'll be like she's coughing up blood. She's just coughing up blood.
And what's her name?
Alana, A-L-A-N-A. Alana, can you hear me? Alana?
The dispatchers tried to guide Amanda to help her sister, but all of a sudden, 14-year-old Lacey Aaron, who was also on the scene, picked up the phone and mentioned what would launch a downright shocking investigation.
Something's happening.
Honey, I know. Let's just keep trying, okay? 30 times on her chest.
Sir.
Yes.
She's not moving. She's got blood come out of her back, her head. It looks like a bullet hole.
Look like what?
It looks like a bullet hole mark.
Unfortunately, when officers arrived at the scene, they were met with the family in tears, and 14-year-old Alana Callahan was pronounced dead. Something was strangely off, though, because while Alana's sister and brother were crying and screaming, Aaron displayed absolutely no emotion. The officers needed to investigate the tragic situation and requested Amanda and Aaron for questioning. What unfolded in this never-before-seen footage that my team was able to obtain makes this one of the most shocking cases I've ever seen.
I left the house 3:21. Went and picked her up. But she got off the bus about 3:30, went back to the house, sat there for a little while, and then she got on Facebook, and I left to go get Chase about 3:48 maybe. And I was sitting up there, and then I come back, and the house was messed up. The chair was tipped over. There was Kool-Aid or blood or something everywhere by the computer, and the door was wide open.
Which door?
The back glass door.
Mm-hmm.
The sliding glass door. And I shut it because I thought her and Aaron were just playing around. I shut it and locked it, and then he comes busting through the front door saying Alana's gone. So I locked the front door. I get in the truck, and I took off towards the backyard because he said the guy took off that way. Slammed on brakes when I saw Aaron coming out of the backyard because he was throwing up because he found Alana. And I went over to her body and called 911, and they just told me to start taking blood out of her mouth and her face. And
What? You said Aaron came through the front door?
He got busted through the front door.
Saying she was gone?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by she was gone?
Because I was yelling for her, and he heard me yelling, and he said that she wasn't in the house at all. And he'd followed somebody over there.
Was he there with her when you left?
No. He was walking home, and he saw somebody walk through our backyard.
He was walking home from where, did he say?
My driveway. I was at the end of the driveway, and he come down to tell me that he couldn't come over for the next 2 weeks because he was on restrictions. And he saw somebody walking through the woods towards our house from that general direction, and he went that way, and he went in through the door, and Alana was gone.
So this happened while you were gone?
Mm-hmm.
At around 3:15 p.m. on the 31st of January, Amanda took Alana home from the school bus stop, but had to go out shortly after to pick up her brother, leaving Alana safe and sound at her computer, or at least that's what she thought, because when Amanda returned 10 minutes later, there was no sign of her sister. At first, Amanda didn't think anything was wrong, as she had seen both Alana's and her friend Aaron's shoes at the door. Although it was odd, she assumed Alana must have been with Aaron until he came bursting through the front door, claiming Alana was gone and a black man had taken her to the woods. Amanda then freaked out and ran outside towards the woods in search of her sister, followed by Aaron, who seemed suddenly adamant to help. However, not far into the woods, Amanda saw the worst possible situation: her sister's cold, dead body lying on the ground. And this was when Aaron's unusual behavior started to transpire.
Jumped out of the truck and ran straight to her, called 911, and
What was he doing?
he was standing there beside me. And then he took the phone from me because I was too upset to calm down to talk to him. So he took the phone, and I was doing everything that they had told me to do. I was wiping her face of the blood and trying to dig it out of her mouth, and pushing on her chest and trying to blow in her. And
What did he try to help in any way? Or?
he was trying to move the sticks from around her face, and there was one stuck in her hair.
Did he say anything?
And he was just like, "Oh my God, I feel like it's my fault." And then he goes, "I touched her, now my prints are going to be on her," because he went down to touch the stick. Because he was going to move it. And he just freaked out about it. And then he called, and he was freaking out because he thought his sister was going to be mad at him for leaving the house to begin with. And he's there in the afternoons when she gets home. Because if I'm there by myself, he'll be there with me. And then I'll go to get her, bring her back, and they're at the house hanging out together when I go to get Chase in the end of the driveway. So they're normally hanging out together. And he felt like it was his fault because he got on restrictions and wasn't able to be there when it happened.
What do you think? Do you think she was shot, or do you what?
By the looks of it, it looks like she was stabbed right here with a pen or a pencil. I don't think she was shot.
You don't think so? Oh.
Just the way she looked, it didn't look like she was shot. She had a hole right here going up, and her braces was coming out of her cheek. I can't get the image out of my head.
So her and Aaron hadn't had any problems?
As officers started searching the crime scene, they made a discovery that would later become a crucial piece of the investigation. Despite what was previously thought, this bullet would indicate that she was shot, not stabbed. Amanda's interrogation continued, and the officers soon started asking about Aaron.
How he came out the front door and ran around back there.
He had jolted out the front door before I had gotten in the truck.
Then he catches a glimpse of her over there and goes this way and gets sick. Instead of going over there to see if she was okay or anything. I don't understand that.
I don't know. I assume it's the initial shock of it all just made him throw up. I don't know if he saw her or anything.
Now, when you were in the house and your words, you said he busted through the front door.
Mhm. He was upset. He was panting. He didn't have his shoes on, and he looked like he had been running.
He didn't have any shoes on?
No.
Where were his shoes?
They were in the house. Because once he saw that the chair was knocked over and everything, he went back out the door. From what he told me, he went back out the door without shoes on.
So he would have came in and she was gone.
Because I went to see if she was anywhere in the house because I just thought it was a mess.
But when you got back from picking up Chase, he wasn't there. Aaron
No,
wasn't there.
he had come busting through the door after I didn't got my shoes off and everything. I started yelling Alana and he come in the door.
And he came in the door.
Yeah.
So how would he have known she wasn't there?
Because he had already came in. He had saw somebody from the time I picked up Alana and took her home. He had saw somebody when he was walking down the street cut in through a path between his house and ours.
Mm-hmm.
And he started to follow him. Once he saw him cut through, then he wanted to go through to see who they were and where they were going. And by the time he'd done that, he didn't see anything, and he had went in the front door to see if Alana was okay. And he wasn't there, so he took off running into the woods to see if...
Considering that Alana's parents had previously forbidden Aaron in their house for reasons we'll find out later, it puts a spotlight on why he would be at the crime scene in the first place. Not only was Aaron's behavior suspicious, but according to Amanda, there was no way he could have seen what he claimed he saw from the distance he was standing at. Somehow, he was also the only one who had earlier seen the individual he claimed was responsible.
Okay, you didn't see anybody leave the wooded area or anything?
Well, I looked from down the road to go talk to Amanda because I was on restriction, and I came down the road on Main Street, and I saw someone run across to my road, to my driveway, so I go to follow them, and I come down here to go look, and I see the chair knocked over, the back door is open, I see somebody launch out the back door.
Okay, you didn't see anybody else?
No, Mel.
Did you hear anything, or a car, or anything?
No. All I saw was a man leave.
What did he look like?
He was all dressed in black.
What race was he? Was he white or black?
He was black, Mel.
Was he on foot or in a car?
On foot. And I ran outside to go look for him.
By piecing together the 911 calls and Amanda's statement, the detectives already seemed to have an idea of what might have happened, but they didn't yet know how twisted things would get when they decided to question Aaron about the incident.
I told her everything, and I was going back down to the house, and there's like a little gate right there, but there's a cable hanging there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw somebody run across it and was hardtailing it, so my uncle don't like no one on the land. And I have to get them off because, you know, in the past there's people trying to start fires and stuff like that. She's seen them or anything, but when I went to go she had to go follow her. She was already halfway down the road with the truck to go pick up little Chase from the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went there, I said I can't catch up with her in that truck. And I just stopped and I went to go turn around to go back to the house. When I turned around, I saw somebody kind of tallish, because you know how far distant it looks like somebody's taller up in something higher, like on that back porch. Well, he was dressed in grayish, blackish pants, black boots, and a black jacket on, and a black beanie on. And he saw me and looked at me and ran. And he was white. He was a white man. And he ran away down to the creek bank, and I kind of thought that was kind of dumb because there ain't nothing down that way except just dead end. Except a little bit of four-wheeler trails. So I went to go see if anything was gone or missing, because you know how somebody tried to break in and go run away.
Aaron's initial comments immediately put the officers on high alert, as he had first mentioned seeing a black man running into the woods, but this time claimed it was a white man. However, this was only the first of many red flags in this story.
I took off my shoes because you can't walk in the house with the shoes on the carpet, because that's made me roll.
Okay.
So I went out there and looked around, and I was looking around. I was to figure out with my shoe because I saw a bunch of red and I saw that black trail. But I was not even worried about the black trail. But I don't know.
What black trail?
There's like a black trail, but we take out garbage to take out to the burning pit to burn. Well, not garbage, but cardboard box and stuff like that. That's why I wasn't too worried about it until I ran down the trail and looked down that way, and I saw something bluish, and that's when I seen Alana, and I went up to see if she was all right, and she wasn't moving or nothing. She had all a red face.
So this is after you saw that you were in the house, you went out, you saw the drag mark, and then you went to see Alana, and then what did you do?
Well, Amanda was there at the time when I went outside again. Well,
I think maybe you might have been getting ahead of me. I'm not sure, because I think you're in the house.
Yeah, I'm looking around.
You take your shoes off. You go in the house. Say, I'm here.
Yeah.
You look around.
Yeah, I noticed that the chairs tipped over and a bunch of reds on the.
What you thought was
shade.
You said you thought was Kool-Aid?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I said hello a couple more times and no one answered, and I looked out the door and there's a bunch of blood on the porch. Well, red on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's blood now because there is someone dead or wounded.
Okay. All right, so then what'd you do?
Then I walked out around the house and I didn't notice anything strange that way. So I decided to walk down. I went back around the front, got my shoes on, and I said, I don't know where Alana is. Is Alana with you? And she wasn't with her, and that something pointed up. And we went out there and was looking for her. Well, Amanda got in the truck and was speeding forward to that back trail where I was showing you that leads up to here, because she said she didn't care about what my uncle said.
This early into the interrogation, Aaron's story constantly changes. First, he had rushed out of the house telling Amanda and her brother that Alana was taken, but now claims to have asked them if they had seen her. But his inconsistencies only kept growing, and Aaron was slipping up more and more.
Do you have any idea what those dogs do?
No, not really. All I know from one time from Jersey to you last Thursday, we had like a little event for the military was showing off their dogs, little tricks. They smell out like weapons, stuff like that, drugs, bombs, stuff like that.
Yeah. And also ours.
And guard dogs.
People.
What they call tracking dogs.
Tracking dogs. And we had not one but two dogs go all over that area, from the back of the house all the way back down that trail as far as they could go, and back down toward the creek and all over that area. And you know one thing they didn't find? They didn't find a trail. The dogs kept kind of looping back around back to the house. And I'm trying to wonder if there was another person down there besides you that was leaving a trail down there that was doing all that running around that you said you saw him doing. Why wouldn't we have a trail back there for that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, sir.
All eyes were now on Aaron, as the detectives suspected that he wasn't being completely honest with them, as would anyone else. They tried to convince Aaron to tell the truth of what happened, but the 14-year-old boy remained uncooperative.
So she just left the house a minute or two, and that time you're there. So, I mean, we don't even have a 10-minute time for this to happen.
Well, that's true too.
We're talking a minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah, at the most.
That she leaves, and there's nobody there. I mean, Alana's there. So she leaves, gets in the car, pulls down the road. You're showing up. So how's this guy already in the house? I mean, it's physically impossible. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? She just left. And when she left, this guy wasn't there.
Yeah, she knows this. She knows you were there, and you went directly in the house, and you didn't see him, and you didn't see Alana.
Nope.
So, I mean, there was no.
There was no
for
10 minutes.
Anybody to be there.
There was no time for anybody to be there.
It's kind of sounding like y'all trying to say that I did something that I know I didn't do.
Now, in a few seconds, you will see how the detectives cleverly use nothing but silence to blame Aaron, and it is up to him whether to assume the blame or not, a very interesting tactic known as the read technique that would give the detectives a lot of information to work on, depending on Aaron's reaction. It is important for me to say that this is the very first time Aaron is confronted as a potential murder suspect.
We're trying to fill in. No, we're trying to fill
I
in.
know what y'all saying, but it's kind of saying that, like, it makes it sound like it's come directly back to me. Like I did something wrong.
What we're trying to get at here is we're trying to find out everything that happened out there.
Which I'm trying to tell you, but
if there's just, I mean, I know you're trying to tell us about this blackish white guy.
During the investigation, an autopsy revealed that Alana had indeed been shot, and in order to be sure that it wasn't him who pulled the trigger, the detectives requested that Aaron be tested for any gunpowder residue. However, that was when things began to take an unexpected turn.
Right-handed or left-handed?
right.
Sorry about that. Can you get both for me?
Huh?
Get both
Yeah.
hands?
I'll be out of here. I'll be right around the corner.
All right.
Unless you need one of us in here.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
What's this?
Gunshot residue kit.
Well, it's gonna get it all over me.
Huh?
It's gonna get me all over.
Why's that?
Because just 2 days ago and yesterday, me and my cousin were target practicing.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Well, what's your cousin's name?
Tommy,
Tell me what.
didn't
What kind of gun would y'all shoot?
22
22. What, rifle or pistol or what?
rifle.
Rifle. You like guns?
Not really. I know they do bad, but I do
Yeah.
hunting with them.
It might just be the person that got the gun that does bad, maybe. How'd you get that on your finger?
I clipped my finger in a fence
Oh, really?
today.
Most guilty suspects usually have a very convenient excuse, and for Aaron, it was no different.
So it don't matter if you tell me you shot a gun yesterday. I ain't worried about that. I'm trying to match what's on your hand. See if it's on that girl. And I'll know that in about 30 minutes. Put your other hand out here. You ever watch CSI?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy. I wish I could solve something within an hour.
When the interrogation continued, it wasn't long before, once again, Aaron began to tell a different story.
I was not the only person there.
Okay.
But I did not shoot the gun.
Okay.
I was actually trying to stop it.
Okay.
Well, I did see the person jump it, the fence and everything. I kind of did do that, but I went straight to the house. But when I went in, and a gun was shot. And when that happened, he pointed the gun at me and I got scared. I'm sorry for lying at y'all.
Who had the gun?
Like I was saying, this tallest, I don't know who his true, I don't know his name though.
Listen.
I know what's the truth, and I'm trying to give the truth, but every time I try to say it right now, it comes right back down to me.
Buddy, we know.
But I was not the only person there, I swear to God. If I had a video camera, I would have put it on.
Let me see something. Let me see the bottom of your feet. No, lift them up. Lift them up. Lift them up. Okay. Here's yet another piece of the puzzle.
The detectives weren't convinced by his new narrative and decided to press further with additional evidence they had discovered. What unfolds next is astonishing.
I'm trying to tell y'all, but I just have to tell y'all that one part.
Okay.
Because it aimed the gun at me. I didn't know if it was going to shoot.
Where did the gun come from?
Huh?
Where did the gun come from?
So, I don't know, sir. he was going to aim it at me,
Let
and
me ask you
help
this.
me with his dirty work.
What kind of gun did it look like?
It looked like a 9mm,
Okay.
to be honest, because how
Guess
it
what
looked.
we found as far as around that target practice area out there?
Hmm.
Guess what we found?
What?
9mm casings
What at?
around that target area that you said you and them were target practice. Remember, I heard you say it. You were target
Yeah,
practicing.
but I never knew about a 9mm. Only
We
knew about a
found-
308.
We found some casings around there, so obviously we know there's a 9mm up there somewhere. What's going to happen if they find that gun? And it's got your fingerprints on it, and on top of that, it's got gunshot residue on your hand. How are we going to explain that?
I'm sorry.
I think
know you
you
are.
are.
I'm sorry, but I did not shoot her.
Did you see it happen?
Yes, sir.
How
I
did it
had to
happen?
ditch the weapon,
Okay.
You had to ditch the weapon?
sir.
Where did you ditch the weapon at?
It's over there near the dirt, those bushes near the truck. But I had to help him move the darn body. I didn't want to. I treated him like that.
Mm-hmm.
He kept on aiming the gun at me though, and telling me to do it. Saying that every time if I do snitch on him, he was gonna get me. I'm scared.
But he had the gun on you. But then you took.
Then he threw the gun down and ran.
And you had to ditch it, and then you ran out and you tried to look for him, and he was gone at that point.
Yes.
Why would you tell Amanda?
Because she was trying to say I was being bad. And trying to hurt Alana.
How would that be?
Oh no, sir.
Wasn't there an accident?
I know.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. The only way we're going to do anything as far as trying to explain to Alana's mom what really happened.
Not only was it impossible to believe that his new story could happen in the span of 10 minutes, but as the investigation continued, Aaron's attempt to exonerate himself only made matters worse.
I know because I took off my shoes and I went to help that dude to move the body.
But the blood's on the top of your feet, so I mean, I can...
I know because I had to lift up the body.
Why didn't he do it?
He said he didn't want to get any blood on him.
Who was he? So we can get
Who,
I don't know if it's kind of a shoot. I don't know him. It was some kind of short, fattish, brownish person. He ain't
but
too short.
You just said before it was a tall, black...
I know, but I had to say that so he don't get on me.
But if
I
you
know
don't
who he is, though. I know who he is, but I don't know his name.
Where does he live?
He's the guy who likes shooting all his weapons down the road.
Aaron.
Y'all probably think I'm lying about it. Crying.
Aaron, I don't think you're lying. I think you're scared to death.
Mhm.
And I think you're trying to figure out a way to make some sense out of what happened. But there ain't but one of two ways I can look at this. And you go with me on this. We all know, sitting in this room, there was no second man.
There was.
Listen to me.
I'm not lying about the guy, though.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I did not stand there making up this lie
listen
about
to
this
me.
dude standing there with it.
Listen to me. Aaron, are you going to listen to me? You gonna listen to me? I can tell you, with every bit of certainty of us sitting here, just like he can, there was no other man. So this boils down to one of two things.
It leads right down to me.
No, listen to me. It is either somebody that went over there with the intention of hurting Alana, and this was a premeditated, cold-blooded deal, or the only other thing it could be was things got a little out of hand and it was a complete and total accident. And that person that did it is scared to dang death right now trying to figure out how to make it right. It's one of the two.
I wouldn't hurt her not when
Not purposely.
Not purposely.
No, I never will hold a firearm without an adult. That's the main rule.
The detective was empathizing with Aaron on the surface in an attempt to get him to confess, using sympathy that a 14-year-old desperately needs, but by no means did he believe his stories.
There would be 2 people out there laying in that
No,
field.
there wouldn't, because
Yes.
I was gone when I set Alana down.
He would have never let you do that.
Cause when
If you'd have walked in and you saw what you saw, you would have been laying right there next to her. Aaron, without a doubt. Without a doubt, that's much I know. If he's already done it once, he's not going to have witnesses.
And I've already explained to you there wasn't enough time for anybody else to be in that house.
there was,
No.
I'm telling the God honest truth about
No.
this though.
I don't think you are.
Yes, I am. I'm telling you everything I know right now. I'm
No.
laying my cards on the table like the guy said at the police officer.
I've had them lay their cards down. I've had them swear on a stack of Bibles high as my mama's head, swear on my mama's grave.
Whatever happened, the detectives needed to know the full story, but instead of telling the truth, Aaron chose to provide more contradictory explanations.
Kept on telling me that Lana likes making fun of him, making gestures, and he kept on making fun of him and everything. And he wanted to kind of get back to her.
Mm-hmm.
Because he kept on humiliating me in front of this girl that he kept on trying to hit on.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to scare her a bit. And he went to go in there and go scare her. I didn't know he was going to do anything stupid.
So what are you saying?
It's hard to say because I know it's going to lead back to them. It's going to be on me.
So are you trying to say Dave Mathis is the one that shot her?
He came all dressed up and gave a punch. And we kept on hitting the side. He said, let's just start her up and scare her. And he kept on banging on the side of the house. Well, he was, and I would go up and say, Alana, are you home? David wants to say something. And he didn't say it. Well, she didn't want to go out. He went in there and was talking to her. And he kept on doing this, that, and the other, and them two was yelling at each other for a couple of seconds, and he did something stupid.
They were fighting, arguing with each other? Then what happened?
He pulled out down the elevator. But he didn't pull it out. He was sitting over there on the parents' dresser because he was running around at her house.
This time, Aaron claimed his neighbor, David Mathis, was responsible for what had happened, but after interviewing Aaron's cousin, Thomas Pittman, who had supposedly practiced shooting with Aaron over the weekend, it became crystal clear why Aaron had blamed David.
The way to do it, just tell me as far as your dealings with Aaron, starting, let's say, Friday of last week.
Friday of
morning.
last week, I went over to stay the night with him, and a boy named Tyler Hyman and David Mathis and 2 other boys. One was a colored boy and one was white, but I couldn't see their faces. They came to our house at 11:30, and they were like, "Come outside," and we were like, "We're not allowed." They said, "Just come outside real fast. We want to talk." I said, "Okay." Aaron came out and I came out, and they were like, "How much money you got?" I said, "I don't have none." And Aaron said, "He didn't have none." They're like, "Come on, we got a little weed. You want to buy some?" I was like, "Dude, we don't got no money." He said, just prove it. And I pulled out my wallet and I had $0. And he said, "Aaron, you prove it." Aaron pulled out his wallet and he said, "I've got $14. And he's like, "That's all I got, but I got to save this." They're like, "Count it out." Aaron said, "Look, that's all I got." And Tyler Hyman reached in, took off running down the road.
Did Aaron ever say anything about getting back at David Mathis? Getting the money back?
He talked about it. He was like, if I ever catch him in the road, that he would fight him, and he just wants to just knock the mess out of him. One good time, I was like, that ain't worth it. He's like, I'm not saying I'm gonna do that. he always would. Aaron, he's one of those people that somebody has to listen to him, because if they don't, he'll hold it inside. And that's something that you don't want to see with Aaron, obviously. He never showed no aggression towards me, but he did have some anger problems.
However, that wasn't the only thing the young man revealed about Aaron's unusual behavior.
So that's why it's not kind of making any sense. I mean, your first thought when you hear about Alana is, God, I hope Aaron, and then you said he's been known to plunder. You said he's had anger, and you know they've got guns over there at the Callahans. I mean, is this
every time Aaron gets in trouble, he blames it on a black person. He says, oh, they were black and in a black suit. Every time he gets in trouble and tries to hide something, that's what he said. And when I heard my mama tell me that, I mean, Aaron's a puzzle. You have to put him together piece by piece.
Okay. Let me ask you this straight out. Do you know about Aaron having that pistol?
No, sir.
An interesting note is that during the 911 call, Aaron put the blame on a black person dressed in black, just as his friend says he usually does when he's lying. Meanwhile, Aaron did all he could to make sure David was going down with him.
I didn't really know about the gun until he pulled it out off the dresser. I wasn't
Y'all
paying
were going
attention.
over there to scare her.
I was going to go over there and tell her mom, tell them that I wasn't being able to go over there for 2 weeks. And he was just there to just do some fiddle farting around.
That's, well, and I'll be honest with you, that still does not add up, but that even makes you look twice as bad.
I know.
Because you could have warned mom off, or sister off, and you didn't. I don't think that's what happened. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do. I'm trying to get you to understand something here.
I know my hand's going to be on that gun because
The bottom line is, you're all over this whole thing, period.
It's at this point that Aaron is finally confronted with the facts by the tired detectives.
Not just the gun, the yard, the house, the road, everything. You're over everything. You, Aaron, are over everything. Nobody else is over everything. You're forgetting there were other people in that yard too with you. The dogs kept tracking back to the same spot, which is in the backyard. Kept running around over here, running around trying to find other stuff, and they couldn't find other stuff, and they ran back to the front yard. Why? Because nobody left that backyard, Aaron. Nobody left that backyard. If anybody left that backyard, those dogs would have made a beeline off of it and ran through the woods over there, because they ran that way. They looked that way. But they kept coming back. Why? Because the person didn't leave. There was no time. It does not add up.
Your prints are going to be the only ones on the gun, right?
Yeah, because
You're the one that dragged her outside.
Yeah.
And dragged her over there.
And might I add, you said, oh, you just thought it was a garbage trail. Do you really want me to go tell her mother that was a garbage trail that was drug over there?
Throughout the interrogation, the 14-year-old did all he could to deflect blame for the shooting, but everything seemed to point back at him. Despite this, instead of cooperating, he once again changed his story. This time, it was all over for him.
But stop on this, some other dude did it. Man, everybody tries to say that, and everybody that said it, it don't wash. I told you, it's not going to add up. You can say it, you can try to believe it, but you know, it doesn't add up. If it was an accident, say it was an accident. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, I'm not trying to trick you.
nobody's going to end up eye as eye.
You don't even know what's going to happen any more than I do.
I don't want her to hurt her feelings. She was goofing around and I was goofing around. But first I went over there to tell her that I couldn't be over here for 2 weeks like I was saying. And because I know Amanda kind of a little bit forgets stuff when she's doing a lot of busy stuff. And I told her, and she said she wanted to go outside and let's go and do something. Well, I didn't know the gun was loaded.
Okay. And what happened?
And she was acting like she was pulling the trigger. And I said, don't do that. And I took it away, and I went to go try to go put it up so I can go leave, and it went off.
Where was she at when it went on?
Over there where the computer was.
Hmm?
Over at the computer.
How close to you when it went on?
I had it right there in my hand. I was grabbing it to take it away.
So you were right behind her when it went off?
Right in front of her.
Right in front of her? She get shot in the face or in the back of the head?
He got shot in the neck. All I know is she got shot. She fell over the back of the chair and fell over.
I'm sure she was shot in the back of the head.
I didn't know if she was shot in the back of the head or not. All I know is the gun went off. And she went flopping down.
And she was in front of you, and her head, back of her head was facing you, right?
No.
Hmm?
Well, you making it sound like I tried to shoot her in the back of the head.
We're not trying to make it say that's what the evidence shows, buddy.
I know.
So if you know that, then why are you saying we're making it up? We're not. That's
No,
what it
but I
shows.
didn't aim it at her head at all. All I did is grab it, and it went off.
Where were you at when you grabbed it?
Right in front of her. When I grabbed it, the gun tilted up, and when it tilted up, it went off.
Mm.
And it got her. It got all over me.
After telling the police at least 5 different stories about what happened, Aaron admitted to taking Alana's father's handgun from the master bedroom and accidentally shooting Alana with it as he stood behind her whilst attempting to unload it. However, it was later determined that in the position of the handgun mechanism, as Aaron described, 13 pounds of pressure would have to be applied to the trigger in order to fire the handgun.
Well, what will happen if I do sign this?
What'll happen?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. We'll just talk. All you're doing right there is just initially saying that I read that to you and you understand it. You put your initials there.
Seeing as Aaron is now a suspect rather than a witness, he was read his Miranda rights and had the right to remain silent. But he did the opposite and continued to tell inconsistent stories rather than giving a full confession.
The only thing that I have a question about is the gunshot, from what I've been told, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, went from up down, which meant you had to be above her for it to go the way it did.
I think I wasn't. I was right there on that table.
Is it possible that you were closer or any way, shape, or form could have had that gun higher than what you're saying?
No,
Because
I was right there beside. Well, that little thing, I went to go try to sit down, but I couldn't because of the corner. So I just stood up, and it went off, and it bounced and hit the table, and it scared me, of course, because it sounded like a 30-30 going off, even though it was a pistol. I just threw it down for a minute, and was dancing around, and Alana just leaned over, making a thing like that. And she just leaned forward and leaned over and fell out of the chair, and the chair went with her.
Okay.
Was she making any noises when you took her out?
Quit moving. I was doing this, and I kept on doing that, pulling it
Where
back.
are you standing when you're doing this?
Up against the glass door.
Which would have meant she's beside you, right? No.
No. You know where I was saying where I was sitting at, right?
You said you were sitting by the table.
Yeah, I picked it up and I was doing this, and I was looking. I actually had it pointed at me at first, and I was doing that, and I turned it like that, and I kept on. And I was like.
So at what point? I mean, you didn't grab the rag or anything. Did none of that happen, right? You didn't grab the rag.
Well, I did grab the rag, but I didn't really get to use it because it didn't grab the
You're confusing me more. You're confusing me more. Look, somebody, and I don't mean to cut you off, but bottom line, Aaron, we
I
can
know.
run over this all day long. Listen to me. Listen to me. The only way this could have happened was somebody was standing behind her.
And I stood up and I was doing
But
this.
you said you were over by the window. Over there. Where were you at? I mean, good Lord, you done moved all over this house in this period of time. I mean, you're in the kitchen, you're over here by the thing, you're over there in the thing, back over here, back there. What happened? It ain't any worse than what it is right now.
Just tell.
Just, you're trying to sit here and fit everything into it so it sounds better. But all it comes out is just sounding like you're trying to cover up something. That's all it sounds like. Period. And I'm not trying to get aggravated, but good Lord, we've been sitting here talking about this now for a little while.
I don't want to go to YDC. I'm scared of a lot of things.
I understand you're scared of a lot of things, but the one thing that you need to be concerned about is trying to figure out what the facts are and get the facts straight.
I am telling the truth about doing this, and I grabbed...
You are trying to manipulate things to make it look a certain way.
Seeing no further progress, the investigators left the room and returned a few hours later with a different approach to get him to confess.
And I know it's hard for you to recall in your mind the events that have happened that's caused this girl to be dead. But I need you to just do that one more time for me, okay? Because I come in and got you swabs. We checked the sink. No prints on the gun. The rag thing turned out to be, not true. So, explain to me exactly what happened.
She wanted, because the other couple of days ago, the door was open.
No, what caused you... No, listen to me. What caused you to go to her house today? Why did you go to this girl's house? What's her name?
Amanda's.
The girl that's dead?
Alana.
Is that the girl that got shot in the head? Okay. Why was you at her house today?
Well, I went over there to tell her to remind Amanda, or just go up to Miss Betty to tell her that I'm on restriction for 2 weeks.
Why does she need to tell them that?
Because I told Amanda, and I know Amanda sometimes forgets. Because Miss
You
Betty
told
always...
Amanda that you were on restriction, but then you went to this girl's house to remind Amanda that you were on restriction? That doesn't make sense.
Well, because sometimes Amanda forgets because she's all the time busy with chasing little Paul.
After being confronted about why he was at the house, Aaron kept changing his story, even when asked about the reason for his restriction.
So you went to Alana's house today to tell Alana, hey, when you see Betty and when you see, what's her name? Amanda, remind them I'm on restriction. All right? So you go to the house to do that. What door did you go in when you got to the house?
Front door.
Did she let you in?
Yes, sir. I knocked on the door and she let me in.
Okay.
But she said, hold up, didn't you say he was on restriction? I said, yeah, but I'm here to let you know, to remind Amanda.
When did you tell her you was on restriction?
I texted, no, I didn't text her.
Tell the truth.
I am telling the truth.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Had Aaron not been restricted from the house, who knows if this would have happened much sooner.
Or Wednesday during the day, you go over to, what's her name?
Alana.
You go over to Alana's house, the door's wide open. What does that mean? The door's just wide open, or does it mean a screen?
Usually they leave the front door open and leave the little latch door closed. And
wait a minute.
Somebody will be in there.
It was open today like that. It wasn't?
I had a knock on the door.
That's right. Okay, so you just went on in the house? I mean, is that common?
They tell me to open the door and say I'm here, and I did, and no one answered. And I said, if anybody's here, I'm using the bathroom real fast. I went in the bathroom, and Alana comes in, and Amanda comes in, and within a couple minutes.
So they were both in the house, or they came in after you got in and started using the bathroom?
Yeah, and when I came out, before...
They were in the house and didn't hear you, or they came in after you got in the house?
After I got in the house.
Okay, all right.
I thought they were in the house because they don't leave the door unlocked and open like that.
Okay.
And so I came in and went to the bathroom. When I got done and flushed him over to come out, Lana went to go close the door because Amanda asked her to.
Close what door to what room?
The front door.
To the house?
Yeah, because when the sun hits it, reflects the TV. And
but all you was doing there was to go pee?
Yes, sir.
Or you didn't do, did you? Just
No.
pee? All right.
And I came out and she screamed and Amanda screamed and Alana screamed and...
So you scared them?
Yeah, and I didn't mean to scare them because I thought they was already in the house. And I'm like,
where were they at?
in the living room.
Aaron's story just didn't make any sense. However, the only way to confirm why he was forbidden in the Callahans' home was through an interview with the Callahans themselves.
So when you came home, Alana told you about it?
Yes.
So what did she say?
She said that Aaron was in the house and that she had gotten scared,
At first she didn't know who it was. She just heard noises. So she ran to the kitchen and grabbed a pair of scissors and a knife. And then Aaron yelled that it was him. And she started to calm down.
Did she say where he was at in the
In the
house?
bathroom.
In the bathroom, was that?
Okay.
And the doors, were they locked or unlocked?
Yes, we had locked the door.
Yeah, I had made sure that one was locked. That one's always locked. And I locked the front. And he said that the front door was wide open when he got here.
Did you lock a deadbolt or is it the...
The deadbolt's the only one that works.
Are y'all missing any keys that you know of?
Yes.
You are?
We just found out that there's my other spare house key.
I told him that he could not come back, that he could not come back because what he did was wrong and he knew my house rules.
And you told him he couldn't come back at all?
Right.
I mean, to
Until
that.
I talked to his sister.
Okay. And how did he react to that?
He seemed okay with it.
And he just...
He's always okay with it when we punish him. He's always fine. He's never been I've got on to him plenty of times for doing some kid stuff.
Right.
He's always fine with it. He'll say yes, sir. And he does about his business. He respects he's always respected us from day one. Always respected us from day one.
If Aaron really was the killer, then he fooled the Callahans with good behavior and manners. However, a subsequent interview with Aaron's half-sister proved that Aaron wasn't the good child the Callahans thought he was.
I talked to Amanda, not Aaron.
And what did she say when she called?
She said that Aaron came over to tell her that he was on restriction for 2 weeks and that he wouldn't be over. It was very important for him to let them know what is going on with him. And I could see him doing that, even though I said, don't leave the house. You know, he would still, he's got a mind of his own.
Did he date that little girl? Were they boyfriend, girlfriend?
In the summer, it's not dating. I would not let him have a girlfriend, and I told her, he's not allowed girlfriend. You know, girlfriends. No boyfriend, girlfriend, but y'all can be friends. And they talked, and then it was over. You know, she liked Tommy, and she broke up. Well, she says she broke up. But there was, in my opinion, there was never boyfriend, girlfriend. It was just in between them. And so she broke up with him, from my understanding. That's what Tommy said. And Tommy was starting to see her. And then Aaron got, upset with Tommy. And then Tommy said, well, it ain't worth our friendship. He says, I'll break it off. And so he did, and they were all fine.
Meanwhile, back at the station, the investigators were inching closer to getting Aaron to break.
After you walk in the front door of the house and you make contact with her, what happens then?
We go straight to the computer and we talk a little bit and...
Go straight to the computer. She sits down and what's she doing?
She's just typing.
Because we got her computer, we'll know everything she did, so just throwing that out there.
She was typing and trying to edit her Facebook pictures around.
Edit them around?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, aren't you going to show me how to use it? And I was like, use what? Oh, that. Use the gun? I was like, how can I show you when I don't hardly even know how to use it myself?
So she's on the computer typing. Is she in the middle of typing when she says, oh, wait a minute, hey, how did that happen?
No, she turned and looked at me and was talking to me.
Okay.
I was like, I guess maybe, maybe not. I just got a bad feeling about it. And we went and got it, and we walked out.
Who went and got it? You and her went in the room.
Yeah.
What happened in the room?
She moved the hatch and told me to grab it, and I grabbed it, and the hammer was already already pulled back. I was like,
Is it the same way that way Wednesday when you looked at it?
Yes, sir. I wasn't paying attention that much, but all I know it was still the same thing I was looking. And all I did is grab it, and I was like,
Why did you grab it if you didn't know how to use it or you didn't know what you were doing? Why did you even touch it?
Well, I know how to use a regular pistol, but I don't know about 9mm.
Then why did you touch it? It ain't a regular pistol. It's a 9mm. Why did you touch it if you didn't know
I
what
didn't
you
want to hurt her feelings. I don't know how to do it, even though I told her and told her and told her, and she just kept on going on it, and I was like, fine, all right.
She's wanting to learn. She's on you about wanting to learn how to shoot a handgun.
Yes, sir.
14 years old.
Yes, sir.
A female.
Yes, sir.
That's on Facebook most of the time, and worried about who's good looking and who's not. She's gonna be worried about wanting to learn how to shoot a handgun.
Yes, sir. Because now it may sound stupid, but I'm not saying it is or isn't.
Well, how about let me tell you?
You're gonna say it is.
I mean, this
because she said she's been seeing something going around her house, messing around. Because
like what?
Like a head.
At this point, it was evident that the walls were closing in on Aaron, and as a result, the detectives made one final attempt to get the final confession.
Why did you lie and tell those investigators that she touched that gun when that dead girl has never put her fingers on that gun? Why did you lie about that?
I don't know.
Sure you do. Why did you lie in an official investigation where someone you know is dead and you have drugged their body out?
If they're dead.
You're not going to do that to me.
Not until you just said that the dead girls.
What?
Until you kept on saying the dead girl, and that's when I finally figured out that she was finally dead.
You think she's been alive all this time?
I don't know. All I know is she wasn't moving or nothing.
And she's gurgling.
Huh?
That come out of your own mouth.
What?
You said she was gurgling.
Yeah, she was like,
and then she didn't. She was laying there, not moving and not breathing.
Yes.
What normally happens when somebody's gurgling and they quit breathing?
You know when you ask that deputy what happens when you shoot a deer and it gurgles? You know there ain't much life left in it. You know enough about that to know. Sure, you know she was dead. The point I'm trying to make here is, why did you lie to the investigators and lead them to believe that that girl had put her hands on that weapon when she had not even touched it? Why did you lie about that and mislead them and make them go and do extra work and me extra work? Did you see her grabbing the curtains after you shot her?
Yes, and I was just waiting and seeing if she was all right, and I was just shaking her and seeing if she was all right, and she and just quit moving.
Why did you drag her out of the house? Why didn't you run out of the room as fast as you can down the road? Amanda! Amanda! Oh my God! Oh my God, Amanda! Why didn't you do that?
Because I didn't want to get in trouble with them and their relationship with me and my family. I didn't want to ruin that.
You're so full of crap.
No, it's not full of crap.
Yes, you are.
So, what you've done is not reversible. You've shot her. That's not reversible. You're not God, and you can't make it and take it back. How did you think dragging her into the woods was going to somehow cover up what you did? Oh, that's right. You made up the lie about the intruder. Why'd you do all that?
So it don't look like all the fingers point at me. And now it just countered back and it did. It made me feel awful.
You shot her. You should feel awful. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for word. I'm gonna tell you what, Phil.
So you're sitting here telling me that I shot her on purpose.
Later, investigators searched Aaron's house and found a gun box and ammunition for the murder weapon, which must have been obtained beforehand. Another person who suffered greatly from this ordeal was Alana's dad.
When did you go out of town?
23rd.
23rd. Did if to your knowledge, did Aaron know about your pistol? He'd never seen it, never.
I don't know if he's seen it. He may have seen it if I was outside shooting, but that's the extent of it. He'd never fired it. I can give you the list in my hand who fired it.
Did you? He had mentioned something about you were taking it apart and cleaning it one day and asked him to help you put it back together to hold.
It was clean when I got it, but I didn't clean it because it wasn't fired. I think I myself ran 100 rounds through it myself, and that was it. And I haven't cleaned it.
Okay. So he's never seen you put it away and where you put it or anything?
Nah. I was always in the room by myself, and I said, it's there and open, but it's not in the open.
What finally hit the nail on the head for this story was witness statements saying they had seen Aaron lurking around suspiciously. A bus driver, who on the day of the murder had seen Aaron walking nearby with his hands in his pockets and a dark hooded jacket pulled over his head. Normally, he would wave at the bus just to see if there was anyone else inside that he knew, but on that day, he did not. In the end, Aaron was charged with malice murder, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and theft. He was subsequently tried and sentenced to life in prison. Because he was young at the time of the trial, he could be considered for resentencing.
It'd probably be about a year or two before we'd be out in the courtroom. It takes a lot of time for that. But it's better than having nothing. You feel me? Patience to keep life. I know I'm going home.
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more.